Hello friends, this is a video to demonstrate basic signal processing and analysis procedure for EMG analysis of soleus muscle in the activity of flexion heel rise test. I will use Delsys Trigno Avanti wireless research based system for data acquisition, and the data will be pre-processed and analyzed with Delsys proprietary software EMG Works acquisition and EMG Works analysis. This video will focus on the basic steps for signal acquisition and importing the acquired signal data series into Delsys EMG Works software, following which we will try to understand the user interface and some basic features of Delsys EMG Works analysis software. Then we will move to our first part of the pre-processing, and we will understand power spectral density analysis of the imported EMG signals, following which we will filter our raw EMG signals under the band pass filtering. The so band pass filtered signal will then be rectified to get the absolute, we also call it the DC component of the alternating EMG original signal. Then we will estimate the envelope of the rectified signal by using a moving or sliding root mean square window method. Friends, our final analysis will be estimation of onset and offset of events of activation based on the threshold method, and in the last we will try to plot our multiple outputs that we will get from our above steps into a composite graph plot so that we can compare and we can have the visual analysis of all outputs in the same frame. Friends, before we actually start the pre-processing of the signals that I have already acquired, let me just tell you a brief about the EMG Works acquisition protocol which I have utilized through this software of Delsys EMG Works acquisition. You can see on my screen there is an icon that is a shortcut for the software. Double clicking it will open EMG Works acquisition user interface. It takes some time to load. Software is being uploaded. Version 4.7.9. So here it is. As you can see, there will be some pop-ups. We'll get rid of those pop-ups, and then you will see, so the first interface of the acquisition software would look something like this. Now when I select the experiment workflow that I have already planned, it will open up like this. You can see that on the above panel we have many templates that the Delsys software has already provided. I have selected for this demonstration plot and score. That is the first one, the plot and score. So I have to drag it to my workflow designer, and this is how I now design my workflow, that I will be doing a plot and score protocol template. When I set the different parameters of plot and score, you will see that different sensors can be selected, the runtime can be selected, and this is the prompting. This Delsys software has a very wonderful option of setting some audio commands which the software itself will give at some preset times, so that the data acquisition and the prompts will have same timeline. So if I show you these different prompts that I have already set, you will see that now these are the different prompts I have set, and all of them are set on a timeline, which means 1 second you have prompt stay alert, then on 5th second you have another prompt, on 8th second you have another prompt. This 15th second prompt is the most important prompt, and that is going to give the command to the subject to raise the heel up. That is the test I have used. You see, heel up. When I click on this 15 second command, it shows heel up. Now this is going to be the audio command or audio prompt that the Delsys software will automatically generate at the instant of 15th second. Now the beauty about this prompting feature would be that on the timeline when the data is being acquired, 15th second will be taken as the heel up command type, and all other timings can be calculated or matched with this 15th second time. Different commands are here. You can see, I can show you some more commands. Like this is the first command, then you have the other command, and with different commands you will find that there are separate prompts and each are on the timeline. It's a complete protocol of around 55 seconds that I have set. This is the test, the flexion heel rise test that I have used in different footwear conditions, barefoot and different footwears on. I am showing here you a 1-minute video in which I have acquired the data with bare feet flexion heel rise test. All the commands that you will hear in this video are automatically generated by these EMG Works data acquisition software, and you can see that there are different sensors put. Now this is a sensor, you can see it is on the tibialis anterior. The soleus sensor, the sensor that I have put on the soleus muscle, is not visible in this video because this is taken from the lateral side. And there is one more sensor you can find here. This is on the heel. This is basically I have put for the kinematic analysis that I am not going to discuss in this video, but I have put these 3 sensors, one on the heel for kinematic analysis, one on the tibialis anterior for EMG analysis, and one on the soleus of the same leg again for EMG analysis. So just see this video how this action is being done and how different commands are being prompted by the software.
Bend left knee. 3, 2, heel up, heel up, heel up, down. Right leg up. Bend left knee. 3, 2, 1. Heel up, heel up, heel up, down. Right leg up. Bend left knee. 3, 2, 1. Heel up, heel up, heel up, down.
So as you can see, this complete flexion heel rise test was performed for 3 times in one trial, and such trials were recorded for different footwear conditions. And this is just to give you an idea about how this data that I am going to analyze is being generated and how will we analyze it. So with this brief background about the data acquisition, now I think I am in a position to fairly demonstrate you how am I going to analyze this EMG data that I have acquired in the test just shown to you. I have made a temporary folder in which I have kept my all important files, the data files and the supporting files that I'll be using throughout this video. So let me just take it out, and this is my first file, and this says 01 trial bare feet. This is the trial that I have just done. Now when I open this, the software will ask me to look for a workspace. I'll ask them to create a new workspace for me. When I do this, they will ask for the name of the workspace. I will give it the name of demonstration workspace, and today is 28th March. You can give any name to it, but you have to keep this thing in mind that where actually it is going to get stored. So I have made it demonstration workspace, or I can make it a bit short also. Now this is demo workspace 28 March 2000. When I click it OK, this file is ready to get in. It is asking whether I should allow this file to get in. I'll say yes. Now I'll expand this so that we have a better view. We can have all the details of this file, the recording date and all these things, the different repetition, run, name, etc. And then it shows how many sensors were active and how much is the data taken, the sampling frequency and all those things. So this is all about the data. Now this file is here. If I want, I can add some more files to my workspace, and for this I'll go here and I will add all the necessary files that I'll be using. So now you can see I have many files in my workspace. So let me just start with the bare feet file, and you can see that there are many sensors that have acquired some data, and this all is here in this composite file. This is the composite file, and when I expand it, I have channel 1 having EMG, then acceleration XYZ, gyro XYZ, then I have EMG2, which means channel number 2, again EMG, then accelerometer and gyrometry. So for all the different channels of all 4 channels, it has acquired some data. As I said, we will be doing the EMG analysis. So let me tell you that this sensor number 1 was placed on the Soleus. So whatever analysis we are going to do is applicable to the sensor that was placed on Soleus. So I am selecting the EMG data series, and that is plotted in front of you. This is for the Soleus sensor 1. Now before I start with the pre-processing of this signal, let us understand some features of this user interface. So if you see this, these are the common cut, copy, paste, open file, save, etc. that is there in almost every software these days. Then these are the zoom tools. Like this is your x-axis zoom tool. If I select it, any part of the x-axis will be zoomed like this, and if I want to go back, I can just go back like this. Now if I want to zoom the y-axis, I can zoom it like this, and you can see that the y-axis is zoomed. Again, I can collapse it to its minimum auto scale values. So these are the two features or the two tools we'll be using very oftenly in all of the time of the data analysis. Then this is something, there are some pre-calculated, preset calculation scripts which perform many operations, many functions that are commonly done for EMG analysis, and all these features are preset in this calculation script. You can choose any of them. A dialog box will open, and if we put all the input parameters and give some specifications for the output parameters, the mathematical operation or the function will be applied to the data series that is selected. To make some interpretations handy, there is a quick view option also available in the view, and when I select this quick view, you will find that these are the things you can see, like the data series. You can view very quickly some basic parameters of this series, like RMS, mean, the maximum of the Y, which means the amplitude, the minimum of the Y, the timeline, that is the x-axis, and these are the two movable cursors given to me. I can move them anywhere on the plot, and you can see when I'm moving this, there are some values on the left side that are moving. So one is this is the cursor 1 and this is the cursor 2, and both of these cursor, when they are moved, we can have the instantaneous value that where exactly this cursor is at the point. So for some fine calculations or decisions to be taken, we can always move these cursors anywhere and we can see that what is happening at which instant. So that is about the quick view. So friends, having imported my data series, first of all, I would like to understand how good are my signals, and for this purpose, I will be doing power spectral density analysis of my EMG data series that is in front of me. I will be doing power spectral density analysis for two main reasons. Number one, I would like to check whether my data, that is EMG signals, are having significant power line interference, number one. And if I want to filter noise from my signals, what should be my cutoff frequencies so that maximum noise is filtered and I am left with my EMG signals mainly. So for this power spectral density analysis, I'll go to the calculation script and you will see that there is a power spectral density calculation already here. Now selecting this automatically opens a dialog box which will have two major sections. One is inputs, the other is outputs. So here if I specify certain parameters in the input and certain desired specifications for my output, I will be having my power spectral analysis done. So one by one, let us understand what are these different parameters that are to be set in input parameters. The calculation script reads that this is verified and signed by DELSYS, and this determines the power spectral density of the data using the Welch method for stationary signals. Now, by default, windowing is necessary of the signals for this calculation. So the first parameter is window type, and here we have different options: Hanning, Bartlett, Blackman, Hamming, boxcar and triangular windows. For this demonstration purpose, I am selecting Hanning windows. The second parameter is FFT length or fast Fourier length, that is mentioned in seconds. I have to put some numeric value. Basically, this length will be the length of the internal buffer used to compute the power spectrum, and this is selectable in seconds. So I am keeping it the default value 1 second. Now this complete data will be analyzed by the moving window method, wherein the complete data series will be subdivided into overlapping windows. So we need to set the length of the windows and the overlap between the two consecutive windows. So this is by default, DELSYS is set to 0.125 seconds and 0.0625 seconds the window length, and window overlap again mentioned in seconds. You will realize that the window overlap chosen is 50% of the window length. We can zero pair the data also, and if we wish we can remove the offset from this signal. Under this parameter output limits, which has two options, one is linear or decibel. Basically it specifies if the spectrum should be represented in linear scale or in decibels logarithmic scale. So you want the representation of this spectrum in linear or in decibels, that is to be specified here. Now in the output parameters, we need to give name to this series, as the output will be again in the form of a file, and that file name should be specified so that later you can identify and you can locate this file. And if you want to plot this result, you can click this and then the result will be plotted automatically when I put it OK. Now before I do this analysis, we need to understand two very important things. One is what is zero padding of the data and what is removing the offset. Friends, to understand zero padding, that is a feature which is inbuilt in this calculation script for DelSys, that assume the first row is your original data series, that is the raw data series. Now we know that we are doing the analysis, power spectral density analysis, on the basis of sliding window or moving window. Now in this we have set the windows. Now these brackets are, these black ones are windows, and you can see that these windows are of fixed length, that is we have just set it to 0.125 seconds, and we can see that there is 50% overlapping between different windows. As you can see here, there are some windows drawn, and the different windows are overlapped by a length of 50%. Now the problem is, if I start my window right at the beginning of the data, you will find that wherever the window is starting, the data will start. And since the data can be of any length and it may not be in the multiple of the window length, then maybe the data will complete and there is some window length left, or it can be vice versa. The data is slightly more and the window is completed and we have to start another window. So in any case, there is a very less chance that the complete data series will be in the multiple of the window. So zero padding is nothing. It is simply we add some zero values to the data. You can find that there are two red lines, and this is known as zero padding. Zero padding is you add some more samples to an existing data series and the value of these samples is taken as 0. It is just to lengthen the data series, which is time. Now you can see that the first point is at the beginning of the window, and actually from where the data starts, this point is at the center of the first window. So that is the reason we have zero padded it, such that when we have the first data or first data point or first sample, we will find that we are actually in the mid of the first window. So that is the use of the zero padding. And now the number of windows will be so that finally where the last window is ending, there is complete zero padded data, which means there is no mismatch between the length of the window or the number of the windows and the data. Nowhere the windows will fall short of the data. Doesn't matter, it is a zero data, but there should be a sample. So now in such a situation you will see that you will have a whole number of the windows, which means that there will be an integral whole number value of the windows, and from start of the window till end of the window you will have some data, you will have some sample. Doesn't matter, it can be a zero sampled data, but there is a sample to correspond to the length of the window. So that is the purpose of zero padding, and it's very useful if you have a data that is taken on time series and we have moving window method to analyze the data. To understand what does it mean by remove offset, let's see our plot again. Now if you see this part of the plot, this is no activity, this is again no activity, and these are again the points or the periods where there is no activity at all. And in the instruction video also it was there that for a particular period only the heel up was prompted, and for rest of the time there was no activity at all. So we take it as no activity area, and we also call it baseline. Now sometimes we assume that the mean of this period is going to be 0, however which may not be the case. So what this feature does, when we check remove offset, it will compute the mean of this baseline activity and it will subtract this mean value from this analysis data series, or you can say that the mean of this baseline will be subtracted throughout the length of the data series, such that the baseline will now be at 0, because the mean minus mean will be almost 0. And here in this high activity region you will have slightly decreased amplitudes, but there will be heights and amplitude, and we can say that this is actually now the representation of the activity, since we have subtracted the mean of the baseline. So that is the purpose of removing offset. So going back to my power spectral density, having understood its different parameters, now I am selecting all the default values, and we may uncheck it also, but I am checking it for the demonstration purpose. I am checking the remove offset also, and I want that my output limits will be in linear scales, output units will be in linear scales. And for simplicity, Delsys will take some default set file name, but I'll make it a simpler name. So I'm making it 01PSD. So this is going to be my output series name, and I wish to see the plot. So I have checked the plot result and clicking it. Now you can see the power spectral density plot has become visible, and if you find here in the data, you will have a file known as 01PSD, that is the data series file. Any of these data series can be exported by this tool to external environment from this software, and we can export it as the Excel sheet, we can export it as a text file. So these are the different options available. If we want to take it out from this software and you want to analyze all these data series with some different software, so that is also a possibility. And visualizing this PSD analysis plot, I would say that this is a decent and a fairly acquired data. I'm not finding much of power line interference, and now here I can see that from where my frequencies start taking some significant values, so that I can consider my cutoff frequencies for band pass filtering my raw EMG signal. So if I want to see where my plot is touching the zero line, if I may zoom, you will find that somewhere around 550 or so, this is almost going towards the baseline, and around 60 it is almost touching the baseline. So let's say I will set my low pass frequency, cutoff frequency, at around, let's say, 550, and if I go to the other part of the graph, let me just squeeze it back again, and now if I see here, you will find, if I zoom the x-axis, I can see somewhere here starts rising and taking a fair shape. So let's say 20. So 550 and 20, the values I'm taking for the two cutoff frequencies. So, and this is for the demonstration purpose. You can take any frequency that you may consider is suitable and appropriate for filtering of this raw data. So I'm taking for this example demonstration 20 the high pass filtering and 550 the low pass filtering. Now the other thing is, how do I check that there is not much of power line interference? I have another data series in which I can easily show you. Now this is the data series which has high power line interference, and if I run the same script, that is power spectral density, with same parameters input, and I give it a name of a separate name I'm giving this time, I'm giving them high PLI PST, and now if I see it, you will see that now you can see the difference. Here only in 50, then 150, then 250, then 350, you find that there are spikes. The rest of the signal is very low amplitude. So this is a clear case of power line interference. However, in my case, that is 01 PSD, if I see the graph again, I find that some of the spikes, though you may find that there is slightly, let's say around 100, we can have slight ascent from this side, and again if I see at 250 there is a slight ascent, but I cannot say that these are the actual spikes. In fact, the spike is here, which is not in the multiple of 50 in the frequency. Then again, if I say then I won't say that there is any spike seen in this plot. So I conclude that with this power spectral density analysis, I have made two observations. One is that this is a decently fair signal where the power line interference is not much, number one, and I can set my two cutoff frequencies for filtering of the signal, the raw EMG signal, at 20 Hz and 550 Hz. One more thing I can mention here is that on this section of the workspace, you can see that these are the data series. These are the data series which can be exported to Excel or to any other format, and these are the data series which you can plot or manipulate. These are just the different plots that are temporarily available in this workspace. So different plots that I have just done, they all are seen here. If I want, I can remove any of this. So this is something I wanted to tell. Now I'll do my first step of pre-processing. I'll try to filter my raw signal, and I will try to draw a better filtered EMG signal from this raw signal. So I'll again click the data series, and you know that we are taking EMG1, that is for the Soleus. This is the same signal for which we have just done the power spectral density analysis, and now I'll try to filter it. So for filtering, I will select the filter IIR. This is again a calculation script that will filter the raw EMG signal. Now in this, again, we have a dialog box which will ask for certain inputs, and the output parameters are to be specified. So here we have different options available for filtration. We have different digital filters. One is Butterworth filter, Bessel, Chebyshev, inverse Chebyshev, and elliptical filter. So these are the different filters available. If we are interested in the order of filters, so here I am taking, let's say, the fourth order. The other two features are not applicable in the case of Butterworth, but we can always set the ripple of the pass band, attenuation of the stop band, and different type of filters. So I am selecting here the band pass filter. Now when I select the band pass filter, I have to set two frequencies as discussed previously. Based upon my observations of power spectral density analysis, I am setting first corner frequency or cutoff frequency as 20, and the other will be at 550. So these are the two frequencies I am taking, and for convenience I will be taking the file and the data series name as 02 filtered data, because now this output will be the filtered of the raw EMG data. So clicking OK will give me, you will see that not much of the difference is seen on the plot, because noise that was there in the signal is extracted, and this is the filtered signal. We won't find much of the difference, but yes, we have a file here that is 02 filtered data file, and this file I will be using for my next step of pre-processing. So friends, now we have a data series, and that is a filtered one. It's not the raw one. I will select this and I will double click, and I'll have this thing in front of me. You know that this is the plot of the filtered data now. Now, since this is an AC signal, we would like to have its absolute value, and that is also known as a rectification of this signal, so that we have the numeric or the absolute values, and we do not consider whether it is on the downside of the baseline or upside. That means whether it is a positive value or negative value on this voltage scale, because any voltage is a voltage, that is just the direction, so it doesn't mean whether it is a positive value or it's a negative value. So to do its rectification, we will be using the DelSys calculation script that is not directly seen here. We'll have to go to the simple math calculation script, and now in this simple math calculation script there are different mathematical operations that are done. This script itself says that it will perform some mathematical operations on the data or some data series that are combined and selected in these input parameters. So I am selecting here the absolute value I am not taking any constant value. My input is a data series, so I'm taking it as series. I'm not doing any operation in which a constant is required, like any multiplication factor or something like that. So I'm keeping it at constant number 1. Otherwise, I would have set it to, let's say, 2 or 3 or 5 if I'm multiplying the data series by some value, or if I'm doing some other mathematical operation. Now I have to specify which data series I want. So this yellow triangle means there is something missing and I need to select it. So now I'll go here, and I have many data series, but I will be selecting the filtered data, because this is the first step. We have filtered. Now we will not go to our other files that are raw files. The filtered file will be now rectified. So I'll select this. The moment I select this, now this shows this filtered one, and now I will give a name to this data series. Let's say now I'll give a name that will be ABS filtered data. So now this data is absolute of the filtered data, and I check plot so that I can see the plot. I can see all the values are above the baseline because the data is being rectified, and you can see that this is come in this box also with the name 03 ABS filtered data. So now this is our filtered data, and in the plots also you'll find several plots are available. So all these plots are temporarily available. Any plot if I want, again I click it and I can get that plot back. If I want to remove any plot, I will right click that, and we can have the plot removed from this temporary workspace. So this is all about rectification, and now my signal is rectified. So now when we have a rectified data series that we have created on the filtered data, we are in a position to estimate the envelopes of EMG from this rectified data series. We will be estimating the envelope using moving RMS window method, and this is again available in the preset calculation script under the root mean square calculation script. So when I open this, I'll be having again a dialog box which will ask for different inputs and output parameters. Before I run this script, let me just clear my plot workspace. I'll remove all these so that my plot area is neat and I can easily figure out that which plot I am looking at. So yes, now this is perfect. So again I will select my rectified, that is absolute filtered data. I have a plot in front of me. I want to convert it into the envelopes that are estimated using the method of moving RMS window. I'll go to root mean square. Now this script also says that this will estimate the envelope using a moving RMS window. Now DelSys has by default set the values in seconds. The window length is 0.125 seconds or 125 milliseconds we can say, and the overlap is set to 50% of the window length, so that is 0.125. Now we will do this, and we can have the window length set in either the sample number of samples or the points or the seconds. So here I am taking seconds. We can choose the window length in terms of the samples, number of samples or points. Why do we zero pad the data? That is just to ensure that initially there will be a zero samples or zero pads that will add to the length of the data series, such that the first window will have some zero data, and in the middle of the first window we are going to have the first actual data point of this series. And same is then done in the last also, to ensure that the total number of window are in whole number and they are not in some fraction. So I am zero padding it, and we can remove the offset also, so that again the baseline mean will be calculated and subtracted, so that we can fairly assume now that the calculation will be done with the baseline at 0. There is no drift of the baseline upward. I will name this data series as 04 RMS envelope of the absolute data, and I would like to see the plot also. So having done with all these parameters and output specifications, if I check OK, you will see that that absolute rectified signal is now converted into envelopes which are more comprehensible and easily visualizable. And now you can see that actual visualizations can be done in x-axis, or if you are interested on timeline, you can do it on So with this RMS calculation, you can easily now visualize the events and activity on x-axis by zooming a particular part, or getting into the overall look of the plot throughout the length. And same way, if we want to see any event on the amplitude, we can also do, I'll have to go back to my now. So I'll now expand it on the y-axis, and you can see we can zoom and gaze any part of the plot, and if we want to come back, this is my original complete plot. To slightly go back into the theory of RMS, let me tell you that along a window length that is set in seconds, that is 125 milliseconds in this case, so many samples are there. So there will be a mean done for all those samples, and that will be placed in the center of each window. So for many samples, now you will have a single point, such that many samples are now converted into lesser points, and we can have an envelope which is fairly a representation of a raw signal. So now we would like to further understand what all can be done with this envelope that we have just estimated. If we go into the quick view, you can see that automatically the maximum, the minimum of y, the RMS, the mean of the complete data series, the AC of RMS, so all these parameters can be seen in quick view of this envelope of the EMG signal. And if we want, we can export these values into a file that can be a CSV file or that can be an Excel file too. So this is all we can do. And if we want to again see any of the feature of this plot, we have these cursors handy with us. We can put them anywhere, and the moment we put it, you can see that there are some values which will change here, and that will show you what is the actual value of the time or of the amplitude when I move this. So, and if I want to see the difference between 2 points, so I can have two cursors, one is here, one is here. You can see that where are my two cursors, the x1, y1, x2, y2, and what is the difference between the delta x, delta y, which means what is the time difference between the 2 points, the amplitude difference between now this is the amplitude of the first one and this is the amplitude of second one. So this is the difference, and you can see this difference here as delta y, this is delta x, and so on and so forth. You have many handy calculations already done in the quick view that we can export also. We can take a snap of it also. You will just check whichever value you want. So I'm checking, let's say, these 3, 4 or 5 values. You can check all the values also. The moment you do it, you can export this table into the form of the CSV. You can create a new data series also of all these values, or if you want to just snap these values, you just snap these values, and these values are here in front of you. You see, these are the values. Now you can see that the values that I checked are now seen here as a snapshot. So this is all about the quick view. And if I go back to my data series, so these are the data series available with me. Now, one very important EMG feature that is commonly done in EMG analysis is onset detection, and this can be very conveniently done with a preset script in Delsys software, and that is EMG threshold. So first of all, I will have to select my data series. So this is my data series, and this is the RMS envelope of the absolute data. So on this, I want to run another script, and that is my EMG threshold. So when I choose this, again there will be a dialog box that will be opened. So if you have a rectified data series directly, then we may have to do the envelope estimation first, but in my case I have already done the envelope estimation, so I will uncheck it. Otherwise it's a two-way process, it's a two-step process. One is the RMS calculation will be performed, and the second part is the thresholding operation will be performed. In this attempt, I am unchecking the RMS input, so my upper 3, 4 input parameters are invalid because already I have done that. You can recall that we have done the windowing in seconds, and these were the window lengths and window overlap. I will only do the thresholding in this calculation, so I will set up the baseline. Now the baseline is the value of the multiples of standard deviation that I want to add on to the mean of the baseline, which will be taken as a threshold. So the script will automatically calculate the mean of the baseline and the standard deviation. Then the standard deviation will be multiplied by the factor of 8, and then it will be added again to the mean value, and that becomes our threshold value. When I do this, how would they take the baseline? So for the baseline, they will take 500 random windows from the different part of the data series, and each window will be of 0.4 second length, and from these 500 windows, the mean of the baseline and the standard deviation of the baseline will be calculated. Now here we have a choice. If we want to suppress some unnecessary spikes or gaps that are actually not representing the activation or inactivation, but they are just happening because of some artifact or because of some noise. So we have a feature which is a very interesting feature, and that is whether we want to suppress spikes or gaps or not. So if I uncheck it, my last parameter suppression time is not valid, but if I check it, I may have to set the value of the suppression time, which for demonstration purpose I am taking 0.03 second. Before we proceed further, let me just explain you what do I mean by suppress spikes and gap feature. So friends, after thresholding, this complete plot will be seen in some rectangular waveforms, and these waveforms are the periods of event where the muscle activity or the EMG amplitude has crossed the threshold, which means in these time periods we have the amplitude more than the threshold, and other than these rectangular waveforms, anywhere else we may have amplitude, but the amplitude is so low that it is well behind the threshold set, and it is taken as the inactive period or no event period in onset detection. So, but we find that in some cases there are some small spikes, like there is a spike here, or there is a rectangular waveform here, and there is a waveform here. Now what this suppress spike and gap feature does is, if we do not have this suppression feature, our waveform after the thresholding application will be like this, and we will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have now, let's say, 6 events or 6 periods of activation. But if it is not so, we know that at some time there are some unnecessary, unwanted, artifacts or noises that can give you spike, and we may misinterpret them during our analysis as the period of onset. So here you see that there is a very small gap between these two rectangular waveforms, and here there is a very large gap. So this is the suppression time that we have set. If I set this value such that now this very small time gap is less than the value of suppression time, then this will be merged, which means if there is a gap between two spikes or two activation periods which is very, very, very small, and the length of this small is specified under the suppression time, these two spikes or these two rectangles will be merged and the gap is suppressed. Same way, if we have this gap very large, larger than the value that we have specified as the suppression time, then this will not be taken as the activation period of my actual muscle. This will be taken as 0, and we are now suppressing the spike. So the feature is suppress spike or suppress gap. In this instance we are suppressing the time gap. In this instance we are suppressing the spike. So depending upon the distance between two subsequent spikes, a spike can be merged and it can be accounted for, or a spike can be just unaccounted and it will be just to the baseline. So that is the feature known as suppress or spike or gap feature for thresholding. So if I now come back to my original software dialog box, so I have set here, yes, I want to suppress my spikes and gaps, and I want this time to be considered as 0.03, which means anything which is less than this will be considered, or if it is more than that, we will not consider the spike, and the spike will be merged with the baseline. So when I have set all these things, now I will give another name to this data series, and this time I am putting a name that is, let's say, onset offset of the RMS envelope. So this will convert my data series, which is an RMS envelope, into a rectangular or a square waveform, such that only the periods of activation or deactivation can be appreciated on the plot, and the data series will have the values only of 0 and 1. 0 means no activity and 1 means the activity above the threshold level. So if I check the OK box, you will find that these are the three regions in which we have. If you want to further see it in a better scale, I'll have to go to the properties of the scale. I'll go to the Y scale, and let's say if I put it at 1, let me see what happens. Yes, now you can see that when I change the scaling, you will find that now very easily we can see that there are 3 events. Now you can see that there are 3 events where the muscle was active, and on X and Y axis, if I try to see them, you will find that these are the 3 events when the muscle was active. Now if I further see my one activation period, you will find that this is exactly the place where the activity in the muscle started above the threshold level. And if you recall the prompts given, may I tell you, 15th was the second, the heel up prompt was given, and here somewhere between 15.85 and 15.9 seconds we have actually got this activation on. So this is the method by which we can actually find out the gap between the prompt given and the electrical activity that is seen in the muscle in some amount that is more than the threshold that we have set. Changing the threshold value, we may have more precision or less precision of this time calculation. So if I change it, you can see that these are the activation periods, onset and the offset time. So same is you can do for the offset also. So if I now try to see the offset, now this is the period of offset, and see here you have got the offset of the muscle activity. May I again tell you that this onset offset detection is very critical to the values that we set for the threshold, and that is set between various mean plus standard deviations. So I took 8 times the standard deviations. If I take 3 times or 4 times, obviously more and more signals will be considered because now the threshold is lesser. So by different values of standard deviation set in the calculation script that was here, this baseline level, we can actually set our onset and offset visualization on the plot also, and we can have this data series available which we can export into the Excel format or text file format. So this is all about onset and offset calculation of the data series. So now we have understood how to pre-process our raw signal to get out all the noises filtered and to rectify the filtered signal, then to estimate the envelope based upon moving window RMS method, and finally if we can put some threshold value, how can we convert our data or signal into the periods of onset and offset. Now I have scaled different output of data that I got in my previous calculations, because all these different calculations were done with different parameters and their outputs were on different scales. So I have scaled them so that they become suitable to be placed on one scale so that we can see them all in one x and y axis frame. So basically, when we have a data and if we want to change its scale, we have to select that data series. We go into the calculation script and we choose scale and offset. With this, we can set the baseline also if there is a baseline upward or downward shift, and we can scale with a factor mentioned in percentages so that the same data series will be multiplied with some value, and thus it becomes matchable to some other data series so that we can find and we can visualize them on same plot. So I have now 3 data series. One is for the envelope, that is number 9. One is for the rectified signal, that is number 10. And one is the onset data, or the data that I got after thresholding of the signal. And I would like to now see them all in one plot so that I can see that what happens on the timeline and on the amplitude y-axis. So what will I do? I will go to the plot and I will select create a plot. I will have to give name to this plot. Let's say I give the name of master comparison viewer. This is just any name I am giving. Now it will ask for the different data series that are available that I need to I can select any number, but I would take these last 3 because these are the scaled ones. Otherwise the scale will not match. Maybe we will be able to see one series and the other series will be so diminished or so high that we will not be able to appreciate them in any comparable manner. So I have selected these 3 series. I want to see them not in separate plots, so I will have only one row and one column, and I will select all these 3 into my this section, and you can see that there are 3 colors that will be there with the legend that will show the composite graph. And here also you can preview. Okay, so this is going to be your signal, and now you can see that this green one is the envelope, this red one is the rectified signal, and somewhere you will have the onset period also. So if I have done this, I will complete the finish button. If I say next, it will say some other thing, and then this is the final plot that I can see. Now you can see if I now zoom some part of it, let's say on x-axis I am zooming this part only, and here you can see now on the y-axis also, if I just zoom this part, you can see that these red lines are the raw rectified signals. This blue rectangle is the onset time, that is almost matching with the spike of this event, and there is a green line throughout which is the envelope that is calculated on the moving window RMS calculations. If I give you a better view of these 3 lines, let me just see now. This you can see that this blue line is the onset period, this green line is the envelope, you can see this is the peak of the envelope, and these red one are the rectified signals that we rectified from the filtered signals of AMG data series. So if I squeeze it back, this is the scene, and same way for the next event also. If I show you that, like, this is going to be the x-axis zooming, and you can see that there's an onset time very easily visible. And now if I zoom the y-axis also, you can easily see that there is a blue line, there is a green line throughout, and there is a red line. So this is when we want to compare these different graphs, and on the same timeline, almost on the same scale, we can see all these because now they are scaled suitably and you can visualize them on the same scale. Now, one more feature I would like to discuss, which is available with this Delsys pre-built calculation scripts. We can analyze data of one particular sensor with respect to some other data series that is drawn at some other point of time or with some other sensor. So let's say for convenience I have one more rectified EMG signal series, but this is not bare feed. This is when the flip-flop footwear was put on by the subject and the data was drawn, and then the data was filtered, and then the filtered data was further rectified, and we get this data series. I call it 1, 2, that is 12 absolute flip-flop. So this is the EMG data series that is rectified and filtered. Now I want to analyze and estimate its RMS envelope, but this time I don't want its values in voltages. I want it in terms of some other RMS value. So what will I do? I will select this data series and I will go here and I will select amplitude analysis, this which is again a calculation script, and this performs the RMS on the input data and it will normalize it to another series. So in this case I'm going to take a reference series. Let's say I take the reference series of the barefoot. So I will do the RMS calculation. We know that what is the window length of the moving window, what is going to be the overlap, but this time I will normalize the data so that I do not get the values in voltages. I will get the values of this data series with respect to the percentage of some reference data series, and now it will ask me to have some series selected for normalization. So I will go back and I will take my bare feet data, the absolute values. So I am taking the absolute filtered data. So this is going to be my reference series, and now I will make this as my flip-flop RMS calculation, RMS envelope, and I will mention normalized to ABS of bare feet, and this flip-flop should be of. So to make it a very comprehensive name, I have made it 13 RMS envelope of flip-flop normalized to the absolute of bare feet data, and checking OK, you will find again the envelopes are created, but this time on the y-axis you will find this is not any millivolt or voltages. This time it is percentage of what is the case of the bare feet, which means here it is almost same as in the case of the bare feet, and here the peak of the bare feet in comparison. So basically it calculates the peak of the bare feet and then it tries to match what happens now in case of flip-flop. So here it is 10 to 20% of the peak of the bare feet. This is 100% of the peak of the bare feet. So this is how it goes. So this is again an envelope, but this time it is normalized to a data series which we can say is a reference data series. In our case, I have taken the bare feet data series as a reference series, and this is for the flip-flop. So friends, allow me to conclude this video. This was all about some basic pre-processing, processing and analysis techniques that are available with Delsys proprietary EMG Works analysis software. This is a very user-friendly and intuitive interface that they have used. and these are the different data series. We can add more and more data series by locating them and importing them. Any of the data series that is available in this workspace can be exported in different formats. So if you want them to export in Excel format or in a text file, you can do that. Any of the data series can be plotted. Any of the combination of different data series can also be plotted by creating a plot of your choice, and we can scale different data series so that their plots are matchable and you can visualize them on same scale. So these are the different possibilities that at a very basic EMG analysis level we oftenly use, and they are quite useful. Thank you.